I'm the color red in a world full of black and white.
Brace for the change, brace for the rage, brace for the wave. I've been going through it. Y'all know the pain, driving insane, deep in your veins. Y'all know how I prove it. Strut through the lanes, gripping the grain. Miles an hour, yeah, miles of fluid. Mask on, asking, why should I do it? Because no one is moving. I came from the swamp, the mud. Algorithm told me I was the plug. Feel for the fiend, you know what I mean. I've been through all of the lesson and hugs, and that is because I've had all hope to enter here. So listen clear, I made your dreams. Fireflies don't disappear.
Everywhere.
Man, I love that intro.
Oh, so good.
I love it. Thank you all for joining us this evening. We greatly appreciate it. We have a ton to talk about. And if you saw the thumbnail, Ray was right. We'll get to that. Welcome everyone into the chat, whether you're watching on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, or X. Thank you all for joining us. And because I know me, if you don't mind, drop a like on the video. And if you are new to the channel, we'd like to welcome you and hope you consider subscribing. So let me bring us on screen here. Chris, how's it going this week, man?
Doing good. That was a wild elimination chamber, wasn't it, guys?
Man, that was wild. Wild. Eric Russo, what's up? TJ, what's up? Deanna, what's up, everybody that's joining us now? Yeah, that was a wild. We were talking about it before we went live, and we were saying that that's probably one of the best PLEs that WWE has had, and probably since Mania last year.
Mm-hmm.
Would you say?
Oh yeah, definitely. It was awesome.
Yeah,
especially that it was. There was not in my opinion, there wasn't a down spot in that whole thing. It was all great.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I've seen some folks talk a little bit about the tag match with Trish there. I mean, you got to think about this too. She's a legend. She's in her home country.
I thought it was awesome. I mean,
I thought it was great.
She's 50 years old, and she still looks great in the ring. And it was awesome to see her team with Tiffy, and yeah, I thought that was awesome.
It really was. What's up, James? Let me see if I can just give a roll call real quick. Since I'm calling out so many people. Jeremy, what's up, Jeremy? Member of the channel. Clown, what's up, Clown? Ishi, James, Eric, Deanna, TJ, Alicia is in the house. What's up? What's up, everybody? Thank you so much for joining us this evening. Yeah, before we get to discussing, what's up, Clay, joining us from Facebook. Before we get into the everything that transpired on the weekend, we start our show every week with memories. So I gotta be honest, man. You sent me this. This was a blast from the past. So I want you to set this up for us, and then we'll talk about it on the other side.
Yeah, so given what happened this weekend and the fact of what we're going to be talking about today, I thought it'd be really cool to go back and see what Jodie and the rest of us had to say about this topic 5 years ago. This is us talking about the Firefly Funhouse match and what we thought of the possibilities of John Cena turning heel 5 years ago, and didn't know it was actually going to happen 5 years later. So yeah, This is some of our thoughts about it back then.
All right, well, here we go.
Good day and welcome to everyone, and we are here with the second edition of Abby's Window. Jodie, what is going on?
Not a whole lot. I've actually recruited my husband to come on here with me too, since we both watched that match together.
Jodie's husband is on. Well, Days will be happy to hear that.
That's all I've heard.
Welcome to Jodie's husband.
His affection, apparently.
His name's Chris, by the way.
Hello, Chris. How are you?
Hello, nice to meet you guys.
Yeah, nice
too,
to meet
buddy.
you, Chris.
You too.
Yeah, my favorite part of the entire thing, actually, and Chris, you may actually agree with this, but when Bray was recreating that WrestleMania match from 6 years ago, and he handed Cena that chair, and he said, "You're gonna do it." He basically said, "You're gonna do it this time," and he got down on his knees just like he did 6 years ago, and he was saying, "Finish me, do it, turn heel." That was what he was trying to get him to do 6 years ago, and I think with this match, he pushed him. He pushed him
mentally.
Yep.
He let him in.
Yep.
And he did it.
Yep.
He swung, but Bray disappeared.
Yep.
And that was it.
So that was my favorite part of that match.
Yeah.
He finally got him to break.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great point. I know we touched on it a little bit. What can people expect to see now on SmackDown?
I think we're gonna see a Cena heel turn, and maybe some more mind games from Bray. Like, I haven't processed it that far.
Yeah.
I do think, if Cena shows up, it's going to be a very different version of him. If we get anything at all. I mean, Bray's notorious.
I was about to say, I wonder, a lot of times after pay-per-views and big things like this, he's not there that week. He might, then they'll say, "Oh, a new Firefly Funhouse next week." Like, so I'm not holding my breath that we're even going to get Bray at all this Friday. It's very possible we don't.
Yeah, he is notorious for that. I mean, he wasn't on SmackDown after the Saudi Arabia show. I mean, he's notorious for the week of pay-per-views not being on SmackDown that week. So
Wow. Man.
It still gets me hearing her voice.
Yeah. Yeah, man.
I'm so glad that I have things like that to go back to so that I don't ever forget it.
Yeah. You've got hours and hours of YouTube videos that you can come back to. And man, thank you so much for sharing this, because there's so much that happened in that clip. I put it in the chat, but that was the first time that we met you.
Yeah, I forgot all about that.
Yeah. And that was the first time that you were on the channel. That's wild, man. And we weren't on video at the time. So yeah, that's wild.
Yeah, what a coincidence! Like, what a pivotal moment all around based on the Firefly Funhouse match, and now 5 years later, it's still relevant. That match,
still today, and we are definitely gonna get to that, because I mean, Bray was right. So we're definitely gonna talk about it, but we're gonna go into something else. Eric saying Bray was a true prophet. I agree. We're gonna get into some artwork. Again, thank you to Jesse and John Bennett. I know Eric posts a lot of artwork, and I've seen a couple of things that have come from him. So thank you, Eric, for sharing the artwork out there so other people can see it. We still have enough for next week, so I'm happy about that. So I don't have to harp on this screen. So let's get into the first bit of artwork here. So here we go. This is from Gabe.
As always, it makes me want some kind of a comic book or graphic novel.
Yeah. Oh yeah, sure. That's a close up of that. Love this.
Yeah.
This is really cool too.
I love that. That's really cool.
So is that. I really like that.
Yeah, that's a cool style.
Yeah. I really like this one too. Close up of that one.
Yeah. I like the
Brilliant.
moth up there at the top. That's a cool little touch.
Yeah, I like that too.
Mm-hmm.
Brilliant as always to all of our artists. Just fantastic
Yeah.
work that you all do, and thank you all for sharing it far and wide so more people can appreciate your work. We love spotlighting it here as something that Jodie was very passionate about. So we like to keep that going. And again, thank you, John. Thank you, Jesse, for sending us over the artwork. Eric saying loving the artwork. Yeah, some good stuff, man.
Mm-hmm.
Really dope stuff. So before we get into the brain was right part of the show this week, we're gonna go over a couple of things before we get into that. One, and Chris and I were talking about this before the show, but depending on what you read, who you believe, all of those different things, it's been reported that Bo Dallas has been medically cleared. Chris, what do you think about that news? However much stock you put into it, and what are you feeling about it?
I think it makes a lot of sense. I mean, we've already seen several teases recently from the Wyatt Sicks that suggest that they're about to come back. Things that mention them coming back soon. So it sounds like they knew this was coming, and they're just getting putting out some teases for us to get prepared. So I'd say now, for the first time in months, we literally could see them at any time. Could be this Friday, next Friday. I have a feeling they're ready and waiting to get him back on TV.
Yeah. I'm thinking so. I mean, again, and I'm off camera because my internet was being stupid for a second. So, but I think depending on what you read, where you read it, the credibility of the sources, I agree. I think it makes a lot of sense. I think we'll start to see things ramp up really, really soon if this is the case. So I'm really excited because I know we've been missing them. Missing seeing them on screen, missing the storytelling. So I'm excited to see what happens next, as we always are. So, speaking of the Elimination Chamber, Chris, what did you think of Alexa's showing in the chamber, and what did you think of some of the moments where she kind of had that mysterious look about her?
I liked it a lot. I love, she did really well at, in her promo before, talking about the chamber and how she had experience in it and was going to make it hell for everyone else. You could tell the way she walked in there, she looked like she was home. She smiled and liked being inside the chamber. So I thought that was cool to really show that darkness in her. She had an interesting look. I don't know if everybody noticed this. When Naomi was getting beat up, she had a real look of concern on her face. I thought that was interesting. I'm wondering if they're going to call back to that at some point, of what her thoughts are. We're seeing that happen.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then it was awesome seeing she looked good, her moves and stuff, and pulled off the Abigail DDT again. And I thought she might make it a little closer to the end. I was surprised to see her get eliminated when she did, but I thought it was a good showing.
Yeah, I agree. I thought it was good. I was very interested in those looks that she had, especially given the fact, and I had to go look this up today, her and Naomi had a championship match at Elimination Chamber.
Okay.
Several years ago. So I think that was a good callback. But also, is there a deeper meaning behind that look? Is there something that we're not thinking of just yet?
Right.
I thought that was interesting. So
That just made me think of something. What if it was? I mean, it's a long shot, but what if it was Alexa that attacked Jade Cargill?
see, I like the thought of that. Or was Alexa in control of someone
Mm-hmm.
and made them do the
Yeah,
attack?
yeah, because like we've seen we've talked about it, a lot of mixed things with Alexa. We don't, she seems to kind of go back and forth between good and bad right now, and so yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out.
Yeah. Yeah. Deanna saying, I think Alexa was fighting the good and bad side.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see here. TJ saying, could Karrion join JD and we get that long-awaited feud of the Wyatt Sicks versus the Judgment Day for WrestleMania, resume with Howdy versus Karrion and leading to Howdy versus Balor for SummerSlam?
That's an interesting possibility. I don't know if you watched C's video, things you might have missed, you would have seen it, but I didn't notice it until then. I totally missed it. So thank you, C Wrestling. There was a scene backstage where you could see Dom behind, like off camera or, behind the camera, who they were talking to Karrion Kross. And we know Dom's been talking about wanting to add another member. So that's a possibility.
Yeah. Yeah, I do think it is a possibility. Clown says, I still think Belair attacked Jade and framed Naomi.
I could definitely see that if you, especially after watching the video of Bianca in the pod. That really made me think that that maybe she was upset because, yeah, she knew she did it and Naomi was taking that beating for her.
Yeah, I mean, the way she took the coat off and everything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like she thought, yeah, it seemed like she might have thought Jay was coming for her.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I
agree. All right. Well, Chris, I'm gonna do this, and I hate to do this, but I might take a little bit of time off the end of the show because my internet is being extremely stupid. So I apologize. But we'll talk about it as long as my internet allows, and we'll plug away as much as we can. So, if you haven't heard by now that John Cena turned heel, you are actively staying away from social media, television, and everything.
You couldn't have watched Raw because they only showed it about 5 times on Raw.
Right. I mean, and First Take even had it as a topic yesterday.
Oh wow.
So this thing has been everywhere. That John Cena turned heel at the Elimination Chamber, joining forces with The Rock. And as you know, Cena won the Elimination Chamber, so it will be John Cena against Cody Rhodes for that title. And wow, like in and of itself, that's a huge main event. But now you add this factor into it. This is wild.
Heel Cena and not babyface Cena versus Cody. Yeah.
So, as you all heard, we the first, at the beginning, for memories, Chris shared a clip from 5 years ago on this very channel on the second episode. Wow, of Abby's Window, and we talked about this match. We were talking about the possibilities, and during the Firefly Funhouse match, Bray called him out and told him that he wasn't a good person. Now we're seeing that prophecy fulfilled. And this is from Jason Baker, a prophecy fulfilled. At Wyndham tried to warn us 5 years ago. Revel in what you are. So, Chris, very simple question. Was Bray right?
Absolutely. And as we've seen in the Fiend's matches, the Fiend changed people.
Mm-hmm.
How many, and correct me if I'm wrong, I want to say now with Cena turning heel now, did every Fiend opponent turn heel at some point after fighting the Fiend? Let me know, Chad, if I'm wrong on that, but I want to say that Cena was the last one that hadn't. And
That's
now he
interesting.
has. Took a
That's
while,
it.
but the Fiend got in there and got to him, broke him.
Wow. I hadn't even thought about that. Wow.
Because we saw Balor turn heel, we saw Daniel Bryan turn heel, Orton,
Wow.
Miz. Trying to think like all the people that fought Fiend, and yeah.
Wow, that's crazy. That's wild.
Mm-hmm.
That's wild. So I want to ask this, and I wish that someone at some point would ask John Cena this, because I know he went into detail about the writing process and the challenges and everything, but
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if some of this was laid along the foundation of what we're seeing today.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think about that, Chris?
I think it's definitely possible. I mean, it wouldn't, that this match was so iconic that it wouldn't surprise me to, that they would pull from that. I think we lost Jeff. Oh yeah, good call, Clown. Yeah, Goldberg hadn't. Braun, yeah, Braun's kind of, I don't know. Not, I guess Braun hasn't really ever been a full heel. I feel like he's kind of been partial at times. LA Knight never faced the Fiend though, bonkers. He faced Bray, but I was specifically talking about people that fought the Fiend. I feel like the Fiend was who really changed people. Oh yeah, Alicia, that was cool. And John just dropped the mic. I did not see that coming. It's going to be interesting. I saw recently, I think it said John Cena's next appearance is supposed to be March 17th on Raw, I believe. It's going to be interesting to hear what he has to say and how see a heel promo, from him, full on heel.
Chris, can you see the chat?
Yeah.
Okay. Here's what I gotta reset this, and I'll be right back. Are you okay just kind of going back and forth with the chat on?
Yeah, that's what I started doing when you
Okay.
disappeared.
All right. I'll be right back, guys. I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Jeff's having some internet issues. Yeah, Deanna, I love now the callback to the press conference at Rumble. You definitely see signs that the term was coming at that one. There was definitely some cool foreshadowing. TJ, do you believe we have a third member with The Rock and Cena? I think that's very possible. I've seen a lot of people back and forth on that. Some people saying they don't need it, and yeah, I could see they don't need it, but I also think it's very possible that they do, and that could be what the Rock's hand gestures is referring to. So that's definitely gonna be interesting to see if they get a third member. I could definitely see that. If you guys think that's possible, let me know in the chat who you think the third man could be. Might be a little NWO reference there about the third man. Hey Nicole, how you doing? I'll look forward to having some of your art next week, Nicole. That'll be cool. Jeff might be joining the Wyatt Sicks. Maybe. Wonder if Uncle Howdy will evolve to Six, Bray's character in the last match. That's a possibility. I mean, I was definitely interested to see where Howdy and Bray were going with that. So hopefully Bo wants to continue that and maybe tell us that story of where things were going. That would be cool to see. Watch the match. Yeah, it's definitely cool to see Bray's words still proving true today and relevant, even after all this time, and even after he's gone. Things he came up with and stuff are, I hope they live forever. I really do. I think they will. TJ, Rock and Cena need a third member as a lackey to get beat down. No one better than Hollywood A-lister The Miz for that role. Okay, I could see that. He'd be a good lackey for them. TJ, I think it could be Drew, and a bigger sword would be Orton or Punk. Only thing is Orton is face right now. Yeah, but I definitely think sometime in the near future Orton's turning heel. I think that at some point where we'll probably get a Orton versus Cody feud, since they have so much history with a heel Orton. I think that would be cool to see. John Cena only appearing on Raw leading to Mania. Yeah, I believe so. I think I've seen that he's got a few dates of in Raw in Europe. He's going to be on there. And yeah, I think we could see the Wyatts anytime. I think they'll be back soon.
All right, let me try this again. Can you hear me?
It sounds better already. It was real choppy before.
Okay, good. Hopefully this holds, because man, oh man, am I getting pissed off with this internet. Sorry about that, folks.
That's all good.
Sorry about that, Chris, man. But you sent this over to me, and I thought it would be cool if we went over this too, if that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so I'm going to make this full screen so more people can see it. But just, what were your thoughts on this? Kind of, let us know what we got here and your thoughts.
Yeah, I thought it was really cool to kind of, it gave a lot of backstory on the Firefly Funhouse match, and that match is just, as time's gone on, that match is just so amazing to me, of how it was awesome at the time, and the fact that we're still talking about it today. It's one of very few wrestling matches I feel like can stand the test of time and still be great years later. Not a lot of matches I feel like age very well, but there's certain ones that do, just like Hulk and Andre at WrestleMania 3. I mean, it's going to live forever. It's iconic. And this is one of those matches I feel like that is always going to be looked back on as an iconic match in wrestling history, because there was just so much involved in it. And talking about Cena, who was such a deep character, obviously started out kind of as a heel, but then became known as the baby face. I mean, he was the Hulk Hogan of the modern era. He was the company baby face that no one ever thought would turn heel. and we got to see a glimpse of that in that match, and now we're seeing it for real.
Yeah. I mean, you talk about matches that stand the test of time. I mean, think about the time that we were in, being so unprecedented, seeing, as wrestling fans, seeing wrestling in a way that we had never seen it.
And if you go back and watch that WrestleMania, I went back today and watched the Firefly Funhouse match, and just like fast forwarding through some of the other matches before it on that WrestleMania, I mean, everything else on that WrestleMania except for this match and the Boneyard match, Taker and AJ, is pretty much unwatchable. It's so hard to the silence is just deafening with no crowd there and everything, and just them in the performance center. Like it, though the rest of that whole Mania is it's really hard to go back and watch. So it's awesome that this was there to really stand out from that.
It's eerie, man, to go back and check it out. I went back not too long ago and I rewatched Charlotte and Rhea.
Mm-hmm.
And they had a heck of a match. I mean, they did, but had they had a crowd,
mm-hmm.
I feel like that probably would have been a lot of people's match of the year.
Yeah. It shows you how, go back and watch that stuff. It shows you how important the crowd is.
Mm-hmm.
If you watch that without a crowd, there's something missing, and it doesn't feel right at all.
Yeah. Yeah. And not just from a fan perspective, but also from a wrestler perspective.
Mm-hmm.
Because what I mean by I feel like if a crowd was there, it would have been match of the year, is the crowd. As a wrestler, you're feeding off of the crowd. There are different things that you're going to do during a match based on the crowd's reaction.
Yeah.
And they just, had they had that extra little bit of motivation, I feel like they could have gone to some different places in the match. Not saying anything bad about the match at all, because I thought it was great. But yeah, I mean, it, again, to Chris's point, the crowd is important. I mean, look at some of these PLEs and look at some of these weekly, like Raw and SmackDown. I mean, look at some of these crowd reactions and see how it elevates the wrestler because they're feeding off of that energy.
Oh, yeah. And I remember hearing a lot of interviews with wrestlers during that time period of how much it was throwing them off their game, not having the crowd there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's difficult, I'm sure. I mean, when I wrestled, Chris, we didn't have crowds for other reasons. We just didn't have crowds because we were a small independent that nobody came to see. And we had there were shows where we might have had 30 people there, but still, you're gonna do what you got to do for those 30. I mean, in some of those armories and everything, we might have had 100 people. That's just how it goes. So going from even 5 people to none, you just got the production crew there. I'm sure that's very difficult. So Mark saying, in my opinion, all that we didn't know it, I felt like the seeds of Cena's heel turn started. Yep, that's exactly, Mark. That's exactly what we were saying a little bit earlier, is that we feel like this all started 5 years ago.
Something else I wanted to point out too. I was watching the video package before that match, just the recapping the build up of what happened with Cena and Bray there. I forgot that Bray actually mentioned that Mania match at 30 with him and Cena was so pivotal to his career that he feels like the Firefly. He even said the Firefly Funhouse wouldn't have even be a thing without John Cena.
Man,
that him losing at WrestleMania 30 in that match directly caused the Firefly Funhouse to happen.
That's wild, man. Like if he had won that match, we would have never gotten.
Yeah, might never have had that. Might never have had the Fiend.
Yeah. Man. But yeah, I thought that this post was, like you said, I mean, it really digs into all the history and it's remembering some of Bray's quotes from that, like the one where it says, "You're not a hero, John. You're a bully, a horrible person. You take the weakness of others and turn it into jokes."
Yep.
Yeah, I mean,
And then all the stuff Cena said about him. I mean, he called Bray an embarrassment.
An embarrassment.
That
Yeah.
he was overhyped, overvalued.
Mm-hmm.
He wasn't the future.
Didn't he say like the most protected wrestler or something like that?
Mm-hmm.
And then Bray flipped it on him at the end there,
Yep.
which I loved.
Mm-hmm.
Man, it really makes you think. Like, is there some of this inspiring this change? I mean, I know a lot of this has to do with like a corporate type angle,
Mm-hmm.
that kind of thing. But I feel like the seeds were definitely planted
Oh yeah.
back then.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's something that they can go back to and pull from. I mean, you can't have Cena turn heel now and not say that at least a part of it was inspired by this.
Right.
It was that pivotal.
Right. Now, here's the interesting question. Cena has roughly 9 to 10 months left in this final run.
Mm-hmm.
If it's actually his final run, I've heard people saying, well, maybe it's not. Maybe he just said that. Maybe he's going to stick around longer. Let's just go with the idea that it's 9 to 10 months. We'll take him at his word for now.
Mm-hmm.
At some point, would you like to see an encounter with the Wyatt Sicks? And 2, do you think it happens?
I hadn't thought about that. I would love to see that. I could see it happening too, just because of, from what I heard, Cena and Bray had a good relationship, working on that match and stuff. So I could see that maybe happening, him wanting to kind of pay tribute to that and call back to that, like having something with the Wyatt Sicks.
Yeah. I mean, I think it would be cool, even if it's not a full program,
Mm-hmm.
just an encounter backstage or somewhere. I think it'd be
Yeah.
really cool. So, I'd love for that to happen. So
even if it was something as simple as like howdy, giving him a nod or saying something to him, just referencing him about turning heel or something, like to see that he howdy, acknowledging that Bray was right about him all along would be cool.
Yeah. Even if he gets like a note, if he goes to the locker room or he has a bag or something, and he opens up his bag and he has a note on there and it has a circle and it says "Revel in what you are."
Can I say hi?
Revel in who you are. I'd love that. Clown said, "Never apologize for a dog being a dog." I appreciate that. This one is just happening to. We're gonna have to have a little fellowship in a little bit. Is what I'll say. We're gonna have to have a talk. I do talk to him like he's a person. I do talk to him and tell him, "Hey man, I need you to calm it down." Right now he's over there calm, so we'll go with that for now. So Chris, with the Cena stuff, I mean, I know this is a Bray Wyatt universe, Wyatt Sicks discussion, but I feel like John Cena's heel turn, especially given the fact that we feel like seeds were planted 5 years ago in the Firefly Funhouse match. What do you expect to see from Cena? Like, how heelish do you expect this dude to be?
I think he's going to go full on. I mean, I think with the looks he was giving and, the brutality of using blood on Cody and stuff, I think he's going to go full on. I think it's going to be way more than anything he did as the Doctor of Thugonomics or anything. I think he's if he's going to do it, I think he's going to do it all the way. So yeah, I don't even know what to really expect, just because this is such. I never thought this was going to happen. I really didn't. Not at this point. If it hadn't happened by now, I didn't think it was ever going to. So, this is real uncharted territory. I can't even, like, I was telling while you were internet was messed up. I said something about, I told people that I saw his next appearance is listed as the Raw on March 17th, somewhere in Europe, I think it is. And like, don't even know what he's going to come out and say. Like, he's going to come out and give a full on heel promo, I'm sure, but I have no idea what that's even going to look like. This is just blowing my mind. I mean, everybody's talking about it. It reminds me so much of back in the day with Hogan. Like, no one ever saw that coming or saw that happening. And I didn't even know what that would look like. What would a bad guy Hulk Hogan look like? And obviously, we saw it, and it was awesome. So I'm excited to see what it looks like with Cena. I don't really know what it's going to look like, but I'm excited to see it.
Yeah, I mean, and I have so many questions.
Mm-hmm.
What is it? He can't come out to the same music.
Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, he's got to have new theme music, surely.
Is he going to dress the same?
Yeah, I could see that changing too. I saw some people saying he should shave his head like The Rock.
Well, I was going to say, alluding to Punk's comments last night, maybe he just needs to go ahead and go full bald and shave it.
He's definitely got the bald spot going on.
And it's
that's why I did it. I was getting too much of a bald spot on top, so I'm like, just get rid of it all.
My hairline was like Stephen A. Smith, so I was like, you know what? I gotta stop. I gotta stop. This is ridiculous.
Oh, clown! I love that. Saying bad rap album should be, that would be great. If you've never listened to Cena's rap album, it's actually really good. I used to listen to it a lot. I haven't listened to it in a long time, but I remember that song, Bad Man. That's a good idea.
Yeah. I want to get to a few comments here, Chris. TJ saying, can you imagine Uncle Howdy retires Cena? That would be huge.
That would be well fitting.
Yeah. And his other thought here, have you guys thought that how the Fiend turned people heel? If Howdy does the opposite after his feud, the heels turn face. Just food for thought.
That is interesting, considering, I mean, from what we've seen of the Wyatt Sicks, they've, been more of a face faction, that they were going after people that have wronged others, and I think that's their goal, to try to, turn them right. So that would be interesting to see more of that.
Yeah, that really would be. Jesse saying Cena's heel turn was the ultimate betrayal. Surely this leads to a future encounter with the Wyatt Sicks.
Yeah, I hope so.
I just read it, Jesse. I appreciate the effort, but listen, drive safe. Don't text and drive.
I really hope that at some point this year we get a heel Cena versus face Punk match.
Oh, man.
To flip those roles. And do it one more time.
Seeing those two in the ring at the same time at the Elimination Chamber.
I like the big hug. That was good, especially knowing now that later in the night Cena's going to turn heel. That made that moment even more special.
Yeah, and I love the way that they did that too. Not someone taking a pin, but Punk passing out, not tapping out, but passing out.
Oh yeah, that was the way to do it.
Let's see.
I like Alicia Z's comment too. You just put it up there. I would love to see that. How do you just say there you are?
Yeah, that would be awesome. Let's see. TJ saying in his interview with Chris Van Vliet, Cena said that he had an unreleased track which he created in 2012. If he turns heel, he would love for it to see the light of day with a few months. Wow.
Cool.
Wow. Jesse is being safe while driving, so good. Thank you, Jesse. But yeah, man, this is it's so fun to kind of speculate and theorize with this because again, it's something that we never thought we'd see.
Mm-hmm.
So
And there's
I gotta,
so many possibilities and different directions they could go with this now.
yeah. So I know you sent me a text, like we started texting somehow, not long after, or maybe it was the next day. I gotta ask, what was your initial reaction when you saw The Rock give the signal and Cena give the low blow?
Utter shock and disbelief. Because I thought that, if they hadn't done it by now, they weren't going to. Like, they're not going to turn Cena heel in his last little, run here, last 9 months or whatever it is of his run. Like, they're not gonna, this is the John Cena victory tour, is what I felt like this year was. Just they're parading him around to every city, is his last time in that city, blah blah blah, That's what it's the shaking hands and kissing babies is what I thought this John Cena, final run was going to be. Did not expect them to throw a heel turn into that. So yeah, I haven't seen anything that shocked. Probably the last time I feel like I've been that shocked was when Punk returned at Survivor Series.
Yeah. Wow.
Something I did not expect to happen.
Oh man, it was yeah, it was definitely wild. I thought that I kept saying, because I was watching, my son was watching too, and I was like, watch for Cena, watch for Cena. Sure enough. Mark says, question, let's say if Cena does win his 17th title, do you see the Wyatt Sicks come out to challenge Cena, not for the championship, but to try him, take him back to what he was before? I don't know. That's an interesting thought.
Yeah, it is.
That's interesting.
Yeah, I mean, they might, maybe they do go after him because of him wronging Cody and whoever else he wrongs along the way.
Yeah, I would, now that we've talked about it, I would love to see, because at some point you have to figure that he's gonna turn face again. I would love
before he's done for good, he'll probably turn back face.
Yeah, so I would love to see the Wyatt Sicks spark that change. I just feel like it would be
that'd be huge for them.
Yeah, it would be huge for them. I feel like it'd be fitting. It'd tie a story. It'd take it'd be a circle at that point. Let's just say.
Be a good way for Cena to honor Bray.
Yeah, absolutely. Because in that interview that was mentioned earlier, he did speak very highly of Bray. The fun that he had working with him. So TJ saying, I had called his heel turn 5 years ago, but no one believed me. None of my family or any friends. Clown said the last time The Rock was around the Wyatts, it didn't end good. Not sure I want them jumping into that pool again. It's a fair point. Fair point. All right, Chris. Well, before my internet starts to boot me out again, just want to get some final thoughts from you on Cena's heel turn, what the news that we got from different sources that Bo may be medically cleared, and just anything else you want to share.
I am, me and Jeff were talking about before the show, before Elimination Chamber, there were so many people online, being critics and saying how Triple H can't book, and this WrestleMania lead up is boring, they're not doing anything, blah 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 blah. And I love how now everyone shut up and changed their tune after Chamber. And man, this is going to be a fun ride these next 6 weeks to Mania. I feel like so much stuff is going to happen, and boy, have they now showed that anything can happen right now. Cena just turned heel, and then Rhea Ripley loses her title within a couple of nights of each other. Like, anything can happen on this road to WrestleMania, I feel like. So it's going to be fun. And I think we're about to get the Wyatt Sicks back, and I'm excited to see what happens with them and Bliss because we still don't really know where that's going yet, and I'm excited to see what's going to happen.
Yeah. And you know what, Chris? You mentioned all of that. How about the start of Raw last night?
Oh, as a huge CM Punk fan, it was amazing. I love it anytime they give him a live microphone.
Oh, man, like that opening and then them going back, like trying to get back to each other.
I love how it was like 20 times they kept getting back, and then it was still going on. They were in the back when they before they finally got him. I was like, how can they not keep these guys away from each other? Like,
yeah,
like they need to fire every one of those security guards. They're doing a horrible job.
Yeah, and not just that, but it made me feel like it made me feel like I was watching wrestling in the 80s again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because that's the kind of stuff that would start off shows to get the crowd hot to really set the tone for the show.
Yeah, you'd see guys that just did not like each other. Like
yeah, and they just
Although I'm curious where it's going. I really kind of thought that, well, since Punk lost the Chamber, he's probably going to end up facing Rollins at WrestleMania, or maybe even him and Roman and Rollins in a triple threat or something. But I was really surprised to see a steel cage match booked for next Raw, but I'm guessing that's not going to be the end of it.
Yeah, I don't think this is the end. I think we at least get something at Mania. I do think that we probably get I think we do get a triple threat.
Although Punky mentioned that people think that all his ways of getting in the main event are exhausted, and he still has a favor from Paul Heyman. So who knows if he can somehow get his way into a main event match still.
And I think, maybe I'm wrong, but I think since, the last time we saw Roman, he was talking about getting that title back.
Mm-hmm.
I think we could get a triple threat for the number one contender to that title.
Mm-hmm.
The winner of John Cena and Cody Rhodes, I do think that we'll get that. That's my very early non-insider prediction.
Yeah.
Is, I think that we get a triple threat and the winner is the number one contender. And I think they have that match at SummerSlam.
Yeah. Yeah, I could definitely see that.
Man, so many possibilities, Chris.
Mm-hmm.
So much fun. Hopefully,
there's nothing like the road to WrestleMania every year.
Exactly. And I get it. People were like, "Man, what's gonna happen? When is this gonna kick off?" I think so many people are so used to the Rumble kind of being that unofficial start.
Mm-hmm.
And this year, because of everything that took place in the Rumble, they wanted to use the Elimination Chamber as that big wow factor, I believe. And who knows, maybe it just came down to something as simple as schedules. Maybe The Rock couldn't be there as much, or maybe they didn't want to do that to kick off the year. Maybe they wanted to build some anticipation, but whatever they've done, we're on the road now.
Yep.
There's no second guessing that.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be exciting.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, folks. Well, thank you all so much for joining us this week, for being patient with my internet issues, and for giving us your thoughts, ideas, theories, all those different things. Clown bringing up before we get out, people didn't take into account Mania is also later this year.
That's a really good point.
Yep. Great point there by Clown as we close out. I actually remembered this twice today. So if you don't mind, folks, drop a like on the video. And if you're new to the channel, please hit that subscribe button so you can join us for all of our content. We'll be back on Thursday for TNA Wrestling. As a reminder, go check out NXT this evening because we're getting a lot of TNA crossover in NXT and vice versa. So go check it out tonight. Come check it out with us on Thursday at 7:45 p.m. Eastern. Our TNA watch along. I'm pretty sure we'll be back on Sunday for Between the Ropes. So, Chris, fun as always, my friend. Thank you so much for everything, and thank you for sending that video. Absolutely tremendous to be able to go back.
To get to talk about Bray again tonight.
Absolutely. All right, folks. Well, you all take care. Have a good rest of your evening and have a great rest of your week. Hopefully, we will see you on our streams throughout the rest of the week. But if not, we will see you back here next Tuesday for another episode of Fireflies Forever. Take care, everyone.
I'm the color red in a world full of black and white.
Brace for the change, brace for the rage, brace for the wave. I've been going through it. Y'all know the pain, driving insane, deep in your veins. Y'all know how I prove it. Strut through the lanes, gripping the grain. Miles an hour, yeah, miles of fluid. Mask on, asking, why should I do it? Because no one is moving. I came from the swamp, the mud. Algorithm told me I was the plug. Feel for the fiend, you know what I mean. I've been through all of the lesson and hugs, and that is because I bet all hope will enter here. So listen clear, I made your dreams. Fireflies don't disappear.